Ramadan is, we always say, a show is an accent for those without one. Today is a very special show. We're doing a piece about a medical doctor that sort of his life volunteering and helping other people, not just in his profession in an emergency, as what he's doing every day for years, but helping the needy and helping the people who, the voiceless, and lately he's getting involved with the Syrian refugees and been visiting camps there in Greece and offering the medical and other medical needs and the refugees. And he's a singer, he's a writer, and talking to him from his place in Minneapolis here in the district area. It's a beautiful place, and the parking is free on Saturday, so that was a good plus for us here. So welcome, and thank you so much for for hosting us in your place. And as we were talking before, that helping and getting involved with Syrian refugees was a lot of talk about it nowadays, and this especially in the election year. And, rhetoric and Islamophobes are really getting into to act and scaring the American people of Syrians refugees, which is mostly women and young kids that they need help. Tell us a little bit about your first involvement or engagement with the Syrian refugees.
I just started seeing the footage, the newsreels that we all see on the news of the Syrian crisis, and as you alluded to, there's the political aspect to it, and a lot of contentious arguments about what the solutions are. But then you see an image like the famous image of the little Syrian boy washed up on the shore in Turkey, and how you cannot be moved by seeing that's more powerful than any argument one could make on Facebook or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so seeing these images, you wonder, I think a lot of us wonder, it seems far away, but it's horrible. What can we do about it? And so I realized I have some skills I could possibly help with, and so I just got online and I Googled medical volunteer refugee crisis, and one of the first organizations that popped up was an organization, a Dutch organization known as the Boat Refugee Foundation, and they seem to be a very reputable relief organization. They've been there from very early on in the crisis on multiple islands, Greek islands, that are seeing the surge of the refugees. So I got in touch and was able to take the time off and arrange to head over to Greece. And I was completely naive, or all I knew was what I had read in the papers and seen on television. So it was a totally new experience that I was getting myself into, but certainly turned out to be I find it's very gratifying. It gets you out of yourself. I mean, we all get kind of we can turn inwards, and people get depressed, they get anxious. We're online, we're on social media, and there's all this anxiety and fear and contentiousness and arguments, and I just feel that and I get sucked into that sometimes too, and I feel like the best antidote to that is just to get out and do something and get outside of yourself, and you just end up feeling better at the end of the day. So.
You went to the camps there in Greece and saw the refugee there. What can you tell us about the reality of the Syrian refugee that the American public here is missing?
Right. Yeah, and there's this very stark disconnect between what we see here in the media and the political discourse and the reality. And the reality is, frankly, that these people are exactly like us in so many ways. These are people. Most of the refugees that I interacted with come from middle class backgrounds. Their kids went to good schools. They show me photos of their homes and their cars and maybe swimming pools back home in Aleppo, and the parties they had. I mean, it's just their experience had been up until this point very similar to the experiences that we have here. These are families. These are parents that just want their kids to be healthy and safe and have good educations. The similarities are far greater than any differences.
A lot of people will talk when they hear refugees, and especially Arab refugee, Muslim refugee, you talk about terrorism, ISIS, and all of that. You've given us a different image of this as a normal people. And I was talking to you before about this professor of economics from the British professor that he's been dealing with the Syrian refugees for years. And he said, unlike what most of Americans here, that they have issue with refugees, they're not there for handout. They don't want this handout. They don't want to be dependent on that. They just want their normal life back. That's what you talk about.
Absolutely. I mean, these are proud people. They have dignity. Yes, it's a very uncomfortable situation for them to be in, where people are providing them food and clothes for their kids to get through the winter. So this is not the life they choose, and I would think that any of them would gladly go back to their hometowns and reclaim the lives they lost if they could. Living in Europe or living in the United States is not their dream. It's just the best of a very bad situation at this point.
Volunteering your time and all of that, but also you're working on a CD, musical, and tell us a little bit how music fits in all of this.
Well, this has been pretty exciting. I came to music relatively later in life. I didn't pick up a guitar until my mid-20s. I never had any musical training, but all along I've liked to write songs, and it's kind of like a little secret hobby of mine. And I got connected with this meetup group, a singer-songwriter circle run by this local, I call him an impresario named Don Strong, and he had basically gathered this group of aspiring songwriters, some amateur, some very experienced, who get together on a monthly basis, and they share their music and get feedback from other songwriters. So I got involved with that and gotten to know Don more, and at one point Don suggested, hey, would you like to, at some point, kind of record some of your tunes, maybe make an album? And I'm like, yeah, I'd never, it was it's that secret dream that you never really admit to anybody, but there was the opportunity. And so with Don's guidance and mentorship, we went into the studio and helped bring these songs to life, and it's been a real fun process.
The song still, I'm assuming, tell your story or your relationship with your experience as a refugee or this.
So the song, in a way, wrote itself because it just had to come out, and I wasn't sure how to quite convey the experience, and then I ultimately decided the best way to humanize this terrible, massive mass-scale tragedy was to tell the story of a father and a son, a refugee father and a son. And the song is basically a conversation, the father speaking to the son about their experience. And I'm sorry, my son, but we're gonna have to live like refugees. Every trace of your childhood is left behind. I'm sorry, my son, but we're gonna have to live like refugees. Already you see how this world can be so unkind. You awoke when the bomb shook your bedroom walls, too afraid to even cry. Black smoke filled the streets, our city destroyed by missiles of hate from the sky. Our only escape was that smuggler's boat, never knowing who we could trust. And all that we carried was the memory of your ma. She was shrouded in blood and in dust. I'm sorry.
my son, but we're gonna have to live like refugees. Welcome to this camp of shattered dreams and razor wire. I'm sorry, my son, looks like we're gonna have to live like refugees. Come over to the tent and warm your hands upon the fire. Every day is the same in this refugee camp. Broken people all searching for a home. And the kids don't ride bikes and they don't go to school. Their lives endlessly put on hold. Yeah, I'd phone home if I had a phone. I'd phone home if I had a phone. And a home.
And the name of the album is called Things You Cannot Measure. And all proceeds from the sale of the CD will be going to the Boat Refugee Foundation, which is the organization that I volunteered with. And I can say without doubt that every dime, or I should say every euro, because the donations are actually in euro to this Dutch organization, but will be spent well. This is a very efficient organization, and so many great people with great hearts just working day in and day out to give some dignity to the refugee people in this time of just great upheaval, where the rest of the world has pretty much either turned their backs on them or really don't want to think about them. This organization, I think the most important thing they do is they comfort, they provide not just basic resources, but they provide dignity.
Thank you, Dr. David Dvorak, and medical doctors treating people now with music, with actual going there to the camps in Greece and comfort the Syrian refugees, which really give us hope about this country, and in spite of what happened in the last few years and all the rhetorics against refugees and Muslims and Islamophobia that is really becoming a mainstream and publicized by Donald Trump. Here in Minneapolis, we say thank you, and we'll watch for the release of his CD on the 10th. And we'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless you all.
But don't our hearts all be together as one? Ain't our dreams pretty much the same? So why does the world keep slamming its doors, so afraid of the place from where we came? So afraid of us.